Debbie, you are so welcome to the Public Sector Marketing Show. First of all, please introduce yourself to my listeners and viewers and why we're going to have this wonderful conversation.
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Joanne, for having me on the Public Sector Marketing Show today. I'm delighted to have the opportunity to tell you about a very exciting and innovative apprenticeship program that's just recently been launched. My name is Debbie Woodward, and I am the interim national program manager for Mayo, Sligo, Leitrim Education Training Board, and I am responsible for the rollout of this very exciting apprenticeship program, a national digital marketing apprenticeship program.
Yeah, it's an Ireland first, and of course, full disclosure, I was part of the steering group, and when your colleague Siobhan Magner came to me first, I was like, oh my goodness, does this country and do our industries and our public sector and individuals need an opportunity like this? So always ahead of the curve. And I'm in the digital marketing space, and I don't see it as a competition. There's not enough of us with these skills. But tell us a little bit about the background and how it came to now being something that's real and happening.
Okay, well, Mayo, Sligo, Leitrim Education Training Board, or MSLETB, are the custodians of this apprenticeship program. And this program, although it's just recently been launched, it's actually been in progress for quite some time, nearly 2 years now. And as you said yourself, Joanne, you play a very important role as a member of the consortium steering group, who were a group of industry representatives who were involved in the design and initial research as to what this program needed to contain in terms of what industry skills were needed out there in the marketplace that were not seen necessarily. So I actually joined the program as part of that consortium steering group myself, and I was delighted to be involved in the research and design of the modules for the apprenticeship program and trying to work out what exactly needed to be included in it. So it's been a long road, but I'm very excited that it was recently launched by QQI Ireland, and it's now ready to get out there to all the apprentices around the country.
So tell us about the practical elements. How does the program work in terms of structure and duration?
Sure. The program's actually a 2-year program, and for the apprentices that successfully complete the program, they will walk away with a QQI Level 6 Major Award. So they'll be digital marketing specialists with a QQI Level 6 Major Award. And the way the QQI levels work, if you think about a leaving certificate, it's a QQI Level 5, and then obviously the QQI levels go up to Level 7 or 8 for degrees, Level 9 Masters, Level 10 PhD. So this apprenticeship program sits very nicely at a QQI Level 6 award, and it is a 2-year program. I say 2 years, it's really more like 26 months if you take into account things like national holidays and annual leave, etc. So it's a further education program that works a little bit differently to traditional, maybe higher education programs or private programs. So it's a 2-year program split across the 2 years. The apprentices will study 12 modules. There's actually 14 modules available to them because there's 2 elective modules, and I might get an opportunity to tell you a little bit about some of those modules. But each module that the apprentices will undertake over the course of the 2 years will last between 6 and 8 weeks duration. And in terms of the logistics of how the program is run, what that means is that we bring all the apprentices together for face-to-face classes at the beginning of each module, and that takes 2 days. So we'll be bringing all of the learners together for 2 full days at the beginning of each of those 12 modules, where they'll be introduced to the module, they'll start to do the skills involved and the training for that module. And then after that, the apprentices will have 1 class a week online for 2 hours during the working day. It'll be set time every week. So it means that actually the employers who send their apprentices on this program are going to make sure that actually they're not losing the apprentices to the classroom for an awful long time. You know, they're still working full time in the business and adding value in terms of their digital marketing skills. So the most that the apprentices will be away from the employers will be for those 2 full days at the beginning of every module.
And so where will it be delivered in Ireland?
Okay, well, we're rolling out the first classes for the programme in Claremorris in County Mayo, and that's starting in October 23rd, next month, 2024. And then we're excited to be running the next classes for the program in February in Dublin. And then our collaborating providers will be running their program in September in Kerry, in Tralee in Kerry. So if you start the program in Claremorris in Mayo next month, your face-to-face classes will always be in that venue in Claremorris. And if you start the program in Dublin, your classes will always be face-to-face in that venue in Dublin.
So of course, given the nature that it's an apprenticeship, we have to have sponsoring companies, sponsoring employers. What types of businesses or industries could benefit from enrolling their employees or indeed hiring new talent through this initiative?
Great question, because this apprenticeship program is perfect not just for new hires, but also for existing employees. So if a business is looking to maybe upskill or reskill an existing employee, this is a fantastic program for them. But we're seeing that this program is actually suitable for all industries, because as you know, Joanne, digital marketing impacts every organization. So therefore, every business has a potential to gain value from sending an apprentice on this particular program. And this program was designed by industry for industry, as you know yourself, being an active member of the consortium steering group. And we had a wonderful breadth of industry involved in that CSG group who were involved in the design and research of this particular program. We had organizations like Digital Training Institute, Digital Business Ireland, Drury Communications, Platform 94, Western Development Commission, FEXCO, Bimedia, RDI Hub. I could go on. We've been very, very fortunate in the industry, have been involved in the design of this program. So we know from seeing that variety of industry that there is a demand, there is an appetite for this apprenticeship program that covers all industries across Ireland, private and public sector.
So how can an employer get involved, and is there eligibility criteria that they need to fulfill?
There is absolutely eligibility criteria. So if an employer is interested in becoming part of the program, the first thing I'd say for them to do is get in touch with me, Debbie Woodward at MSLETB, and maybe perhaps we can share that link, if that's okay, Joanne, for people who might want to find out a little bit more about the program. But what we'd like employers to do, if they're interested in registering for the program, then what we need them to do is to, first of all, come ideally to one of my online information sessions, where I go into a lot of detail about the program, how it runs, what the apprentices will cover in terms of the different modules that are available to them. And I run a weekly session just for an hour, just under an hour, every Wednesday morning from 10 to 11, where employers can come along and learn, you know, how do they register for the program, what's involved in terms of the modules and the logistics and how often it runs, etc. So what we'd like is employers to come along to those information sessions. But what we have to remember is that this particular program, as all apprenticeship programs, they're actually managed by they're governed by legislation. So we need employers to go through a very quick, relatively straightforward approval process with SOLACE. SOLACE are the state agency that is responsible for further education and training here in Ireland. So when an employer is interested in sending on a new hire and our existing employee to do this apprenticeship program, we just need them to register their expression of interest on the apprenticeship online website. And then after that, they'll be contacted by an authorised officer from SOLACE who'll organise a site visit and come out and just get them to fill out a little bit of paperwork, and then we can look at registering the apprentice onto the program. But that can take a couple of weeks. So I would say if you're interested in sending an apprentice on the classes in Mayo that are starting on October 23rd, I'd say try and get to one of my information sessions in the next week or two, ideally, and we'll get you registered on the apprenticeship online website so we can get you through that process and get your apprentice confirmed on their space.
And of course, the program is fully funded. And I know they have to commit to releasing their staff member or their new hire for the course. But I mean, this is a huge advantage, right? Added value in two ways, skills and it being fully funded.
100%. And this is where the apprenticeship system really works. There's no training cost to the employer. There's no training costs at all to the apprentice or the learner who comes on the program. In fact, because the apprenticeships are government funded, there's an employer grant that's made available to all employers who sign up to the program. So an employer who does register an apprentice onto the program will get €4,000 per apprentice for the program, and that's paid in installments of €1,000 per apprentice every 6 months. And actually, there are other grants available too, Joanne. If you have an apprentice coming onto the program who is perhaps from a Gaelic area or is fluent Irish, then there's other grants available. The other wasn't a Gaelic apprenticeship grant of €2,000 may be available as well. So that's one of the reasons why we love to get the employers to come to my information session, because I can fill them in on all of these details.
Yeah, you don't want to share all the goods here, Debbie. They need to go to the information session.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So let's talk about the skills. As you said, 12 modules. There's 2 that are elective. Talk me through what skills they'll learn and have at the end of it.
Okay, well, on the program, as I said, there's over the 2 years they're going to do 12 modules. So the very first module that they'll do will be a lovely introduction into 21st century digital marketing, and this is where we'll bring everybody up to speed. We'll build the foundation for the key theory and terminology that they need to understand moving forward. It builds that foundation for the rest of the program, and this is a lovely introduction module. And one of the things I should mention, actually, Joanne, is that all of the assessments for all of these modules are practical. There is no written exams, and this is one of the things that apprentices love about these programs, these new style tech generation programs. There's no written exams on the Digital Marketing Apprenticeship Program. All the assessments that they do are practical, and where possible, we try and base all the assessments on the work of the employer themselves, which means that when an apprentice comes on board to do this program, they can start adding value literally from week 1 to the business. But we have a lovely set of modules across the 2-year program. So we start off with like an introduction to 21st century, where we're doing those high-level topics like understanding your audience, understanding maybe what are technology trends and how they may impact on digital marketing. And then we delve even deeper into other areas of digital marketing. We start looking at content creation using different apps and tools and software. And this is where we look at how to build that digital asset library that we know is so important for employers. And we start to look at things like video production and how to design maybe a web-based digital portfolio for an employer as well. So we have other modules then in year 1. We have digital marketing tools and tactics. And this is where we look at content creation in a bit more detail. So we look at different topics like campaign strategies, marketing and media techniques. We look at important topics like search engine optimization, because these are all really prevalent topics in the whole area of digital marketing, understanding about that customer journey, how to create content for each stage of that customer journey. And then we have a really interesting module that a lot of employers are surprised to see on the program, and it's digital marketing and media law and ethics, because we know that Irish law can have an impact on digital marketing activities. So we actually bring in a practicing solicitor to deliver that particular module, and we look at things like data privacy, intellectual property rights, copyright, and it's very prevalent with the AI EU Act that we know came into force there recently. So that's covered under that module as well. And then the final module we have is content marketing and generative AI. And you know, Joanne, from previous episodes and all the work you're doing, that generative AI is having such an impact on the digital marketing industry. So we touch on how the generative AI is impacting content marketing. We look at the different tools that the learners can use in their content marketing, and we help them to understand then maybe how to use some of those tools to develop a content marketing strategy. And then we have actually 2 electives where they choose one. One is a very important digital communication for the public sector, which I'm sure all of the followers on this subscribers to this podcast will understand that there's such a demand really for having that digital communication skill in the public sector. It's a niche module that will probably be taken up by mostly learners who are working for public sector employers on this program. But that's a wonderful module, and Joanne, you've been so crucial in helping us to develop that module, and we're very, very grateful for that. And then the other elective module that's available to the learners on this program is a deeper dive into generative AI for digital marketing, where we critically analyze all the different tools that are out there. We start looking at the pros and cons of using generative AI in different digital marketing activities. Excuse me. And we also then look at maybe some of the ethical issues that might come from that. So it's a fascinating elective module that I think that most employees who are working maybe in the private sector might want to get involved in that particular one. So And then in year 2, if you're happy for me to go on, I'll tell the listeners a little bit about year 2. So at the beginning of that, we have a couple of elective modules as well for them to choose from. They have the option of media planning and buying or podcasting fundamentals. And the media planning and buying is another lovely niche module that I imagine mostly learners who are working for a media company will sign up to. And then the other module we have is podcasting fundamentals, and that's a lovely one, very applicable to be on a podcast talking about this module. And in this particular module, we'll be introducing the apprentices to why podcasting is such an important digital marketing channel for businesses, and how to design and script and record and edit a particular podcast episode, and look at the whole kind of post-production side of it as well. So it's a lovely 6-week elective module for the apprentices to choose from. Then we have a module all about social media marketing, which we know is very important for businesses to be leveraging the different social media platforms to connect with audiences. So we'll be covering all of that in that particular module. And then the next module is emerging trends in e-business. And we know that topics like search marketing have really been impacted by things like recent changes to online privacy. So we'll be looking at all of that area. We'll be looking at the different tools that are available, how shopping trends have impacted e-commerce. We'll also then bring in some very interesting emerging technology, like how augmented reality and virtual reality has impacted digital marketing, and how that immersive technology can be incorporated into some very interesting digital marketing campaigns. So they're going to cover all of that. Then the third last module in that year is marketing and media planning and implementation. And this is where we look at how to plan that, based on everything they've done so far, how to plan that digital marketing campaign, and understanding about the key metrics that they need to understand for measuring effectiveness. Because as you know yourself, Joanne, the importance of measuring everything you do in digital marketing, otherwise there's no point in doing it if you can't measure how effective it was. Then the second last module that they'll cover is digital transformation leadership. And digital transformation is such an important topic nowadays. We'll introduce the learners to this and the impact that digital transformation can have on every type of organization. We'll show them how to map and lead a business through a digital transformation journey. The final module they have is a 12-week module called Showcase Project. And in this module, it's consolidating all the learning over the last 2 years. On that module, they'll pick an underperforming key metric or process within the business. And what they have to do is design a proposal around that, do all the primary and secondary research, and then present their plan back to their employers, to their program team, to their peers. So that's a fantastic project to tie everything that they've learned together in the last 12 weeks. But that's the 2-year plan. But actually, over the 2 years, there's a lot of supports put in place as well. Like, one of the things that they do is, and this is something that came out from the CSG, we see that there's a lack of transversal skills, perhaps, in some of the digital marketing staff that are coming onto the marketplace. So we have 1 hour a month, with the apprentices, where we look at those human and transversal skills, like critical thinking, teamwork, presentation, collaboration skills, and we'll do work with them every month on that. And that will help to contribute, because a lot of the assessments that they're doing are not just written reports, there's presentations, there's debates, so very practical, and all of those transversal skills will be very useful in those assessments.
Yeah, and there's loads of other supports for the apprentices. That was one of the things that I commented on in our last meeting, right?
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, that particular support I love. It's called Professional and Personal Growth Masterclass that they'll have every month. But we also give the opportunity for apprentices to have a 1 hour one-to-one on anything additional help that they might need. So whether it's they need help with some aspect of literacy, or if they just need help with understanding how to use Microsoft PowerPoint to deliver their presentation, we will provide that kind of tailored one-to-one help with them, and all the apprentices have access to that. There's also workplace tasks that they'll be doing in the workplace, and perhaps I could just mention there the importance of the role of the workplace mentor. And when employers come onto my information session, I tell them and explain to them about the importance of that role, because in the workplace, it's important that the apprentice has the workplace mentor who will help to support them and nurture that professional growth over the 2-year period. But it's not a huge commitment to time. It's just a point of contact, but also committing to having a one-to-one meeting with the apprentice every week, just for sort of 15 minutes or so, to check in with the apprentice, see how they're doing. So we support the mentors with that as well as supporting the instructors and offering that academic support.
Amazing. So it's brand new. There's lots of pros for employers. If you've got an existing team member that you want to upskill, I mean, even ask them the question, you will never be unemployed as a digital marketer. This is a massive opportunity. Let's direct them to what should be their next step after listening to this interview. Is it going to the website, downloading the brochure? What is it?
There's a couple of options. You can go to the Generation Apprenticeship website, and our apprenticeship program sits under the ICT stream. So when you go onto the apprenticeship website, you'll see all the different streams that are available of different apprenticeship programs that are on option to employers. There's obviously the traditional craft apprenticeship programs that have been so successful, but since 2016, there's this whole new generation of new style tech apprenticeships, of which digital marketing is one of them. So if you look into the ICT stream, you'll find us listed there, and all the information about the program is there. But also contact apprenticeships at MSLETB.ie or Debbie Woodward at MSLETB.ie, and I can send you out the link to sign up to one of my employer information sessions, and give you all the information you need. I can even send you out an employer brochure that you could download, and that's on the website too.
Yeah, and we should remind people that, you know, you already have employers secured. You have any amount of interest from potential apprentices, but there's a small cohort of opportunity for employers now in both public and private sectors. So they'd need to be moving on and making contact with you, right?
Absolutely, because even though October 23rd for the first classes in Mayo, it seems like a little way away, and even with the classes in Dublin in February, those places on both programs are filling up very, very quickly. So because there is that little bit of time we need for the solace approval of the employer, I would say if you're interested in the program, please don't hesitate to contact me, and we'll get you registered on the platform and get that process started so that we can guarantee your apprentice gets a place on the program, whichever location you prefer.
Brilliant. So I will include links to your email address, to the website landing page, and also to your session as well. And make sure that you follow the social media accounts. Remind me the handles of the social media accounts.
Absolutely. We have a Facebook business page, Digital Marketing Apprenticeship Ireland. We have an Instagram profile, same username. We have a LinkedIn showcase page for anybody that would like to follow the page to get some content about the program. Alternatively, if they want to connect with me on LinkedIn, Debbie Woodward, I can fill them in if they have any particular questions on the program.
As you can tell, guys, Debbie is so invested in this, and you're doing brilliant work. I said that to you also on the last presentation that you give the CSG. So I appreciate what you're doing to get this to market and to recruit. So let's try and help get those filled with the right organizations and the right people. And thank you so much for joining me, Debbie.
Not at all, and thanks again for having me, Joanne. Really enjoyed the chat today, and just hoping that employers do sign up to the program. I just think it's an amazing program, and I really appreciate your support.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thank you.